Hello and welcome to another Company of Heroes 3 game. My name is Fancy Josh, and today we've got a game for you between Nostalgia as our Africa Corps and mrce as our US. I've cast Nostalgia before. He is rank, I want to say 53 as Africa Corps. Oh yeah, he is, because oddly enough, he's also rank 53 as Wehrmacht. And mrce is rank 71-ish as the US. So both players very highly rated. Map today is going to be Faymanville. Great map. Been in the pool a long time. Got these cool L-shaped cutoff points connecting you to a significant portion of your resources. Also a rather exposed capture cutoff point here connecting you to the other side. You do have a relatively decent amount of guaranteed resources connected to your headquarters sector. So this map leads to some relatively balanced, both players able to get a reasonable amount of resources, and leads to some cool fights in the mid-game. I also love how short across this map is. I mean, it's not very... the bases are seemingly rather close to one another, and can lead to some really aggressive gameplay. One player has gone for the Italian combined arms and has started using these bersaglieri squads. I cannot pronounce that word. I have tried and tried. I've even sat with Google and used the the coaching feature, and I just cannot get it. So this bersaglieri means sharpshooter in Italian. So you may hear me refer to them as sharpshooters throughout this game, just so that I don't offend anyone. One player has also added on a bike. US players added on a Jeep. And a lot of times when you see players go for Jeeps, they go for the... I think it's the Armored Battle Group. Yeah, where they can get that Vet 1 cruise right off the rip. But our US player has not opted to do that. Big old push here by our German player. Gonna force these riflemen out of here. Love that our German built some sandbags on that point. Jeep just backing off, covering the retreat here. More riflemen on the way. Very standard opening for both players. Now, it's been a little while since I've seen a game with the bersaglieri. I think they're a really cool squad. They remind me of scouts. But I guess they're beefier and a little better at fighting compared to the US scouts. They just have that quick movement speed that gets them across the map rapidly. Lets you control territory pretty efficiently. Jeep rolling around, capturing territory, letting the infantry fight. Jeep's going to repair up there. I think this US player might be thinking about stealing this fuel up here. He is going to do that. That's cool to see. Recognizing you can't deny this fuel on the bottom side. Figures why not take that top side away. And I'd love to see our US player pick up some of this territory on the top side. Fortunately for him, doesn't have a level 1 Jeep just yet. He's getting close. Sharpshooters responding with that sprint that I was referring to earlier. What is it called? More of a marathon runner. Quick march, yeah. So giving them that movement speed across the map there. Jeep helping out, as well as the motorbike. Medical truck on the way for our German player. US player going for infantry support a little bit early here. A lot of times you'll see players go for the... You'll see them go for 3 riflemen before the infantry support center, but nothing wrong with that. Jeep did hit level 1, so can opt to capture territory if that's what he wants to do. Has not elected to do that just yet. This player did move into this left side after his opponent quick marched over to the right, so nicely done, distracting his opponent and then moving in. Jeep bailing out. I do love this self-repair from the Jeep. It's got a kind of a long cooldown, but makes the Jeep self-sufficient, doesn't force the US player to add on engineers. like it has in previous games. So cool to see. Riflemen closing the gap there a little bit. Scouts just dueling at long range with these Panzer Pioneers. German player is going to steal away that top side victory point. Rifleman going to pick up this munitions on the right side there. Rifleman hiding in wait here for that motorcycle. These riflemen don't know but they're about to walk into a bad situation, bailing out right away. Definitely a good choice. Heavy machine gun up next for our US player. And with the early infantry support center, I'm wondering what he has in mind, because the only reason to do that, in my opinion, is for the tech. So he either wants to go for something like the advanced logistics or survival training upgrades. We might see him go for a quick motor pool. Yeah, curious what he wants to do. Captain stealing away this top victory point. Ultimately, our German has done a slightly better job, but both players ignoring the victory points for the most part. 250 mechanized assault group call in here for our German. Gonna close the distance with this heavy machine gun. Might pick him up. Nope, not quite. And I guess that's not a heavy machine gun. That is, in fact, a Jeep. Like he's just slowing down his opponent. Looks like he wanted to try to take the cutoff, but thought better of it. I think that was a good decision. It's not like that cutoff point was connecting him to anything. Engineer's going to save this point from being captured away. And the assault grenadiers are going to try and pick up this fuel, but I think the riflemen are also in position to stop that. So, nice series of plays from our German player, trying to take critical cutoffs, but being responded to appropriately in every case. So, by the way, I am capturing this game live on the ladder. For those of you that don't know, I like to try to find games by just watching the ladder. Sometimes I'll stream on Twitch. I am not today, but if you're ever interested in seeing something like that, let me know. I think it's fun to just watch ladder games. You catch all sorts of crazy stuff, and I don't post half the games that I record because they end quickly because of some crazy strategy. And so if you guys are interested in seeing those strategies, let me know. I will start posting some of those shorter games. I just know, people like to see good games, right? And quote-unquote good means a close game, and usually lasting 20 to 30 minutes, so. Of course, I also like good games, which is why I post them. Captain on this top side, gonna fight these Bersaglieri. I feel like I'm close on that. I know it's not right, but... And US player managing to pick up a 250 here that was stealing away his cutoff point. Feels like bazookas may have been involved in making that happen. Black half-track on the way for our German. So has researched that support elements. And I wonder if we're going to see him go for these... Yeah, we are. I was going to say, I wonder if we're going to see him go for these light machine guns. I think there's a strong strategy where you basically hard commit to this strategy. You basically don't spend any munitions and you strictly go for these light machine guns. They are kind of expensive at this stage in the game. He can't afford 2 more, but that's going to be all his munitions. Now, the weakness of this Italian battle group, in my opinion, is vehicles. Because these guys don't really have a way to deal with vehicles via anti-tank grenades or Panzerfausts, right? Now, of course, the German does have other options, but at least at this stage, if the US player can get out an early vehicle, it can be really strong. Nice flank by the sharpshooters, going to push away that heavy machine gun. Jeep hanging out in the back. Very cool to see this Jeep still alive. Making great use of that unit. And those light machine guns, Beretta Model 30s, they are really scary when you have a bunch of them. Black Panzer pushing back here. 75mm upgrade. Oh, not yet. Okay, so our US player has locked in the heavy weapons and is swapping to the 75mm with an 8-second recharge time. Unfortunately for him, is on target infantry. So the jig is up, and his opponent does know about the 75mm. You know, hilariously enough, you know, I know he's targeting infantry with an anti-tank weapon, but the other day I saw, and I actually think that game made it onto my channel, I saw a half-track kill a bazooka, or kill a Panzer Shrek with a shot. So it was funny to see. Don't think we've seen it get any hits just yet, but that's okay. AT gun on the field for our German, just in time to deal with that 75mm artillery barrage coming out from the captain. Did our engineers just go down? They did. So nice pickup by our German player there, getting the engineers and managed to steal that flamethrower. US player, interestingly, going for bar rifles. Bar rifles is a little bit unpopular right now. I think it's because it's such a large investment, and riflemen are reasonably effective without it. Machine gun repositioning at the worst possible time. Scout's got a bail as well. Bazooka's in the area. 75mm probably getting repaired up now by the newly created engineers. Yep, both players just kind of trading back some territory here. Back and forth. Relatively equal, all things considered. And rifleman bailing out. I love how mobile our German is being. He has called in a second mechanized assault group there. And you know what? I better call that the right thing, because there's another thing called mechanized assault group. Yeah, it is assault mechanized group. I see. Ooh, big flank here on these riflemen in jeopardy. Gonna pick up the 250 with the 75mm though, and these grenadiers have the assault rush bonus, bailing out of that vehicle, allowing them to sprint and take way less damage. Might see some grenades for free. Isn't gonna cast it quite in time, but is gonna grenade this unit. They gotta bail out. Scouts in a awkward position here, hiding in the smoke. Assault grenadiers trying to pick up the heavy machine gun, not gonna make it happen. Bazookas and Jeep trying to fight these assault grenadiers in their face. Bar rifles coming to help out. Grenadiers winning that fight pretty handily. Yeah, those bar rifles are such a big investment, right? I mean, he gets it across. Well, yeah, I mean, I'm thinking about it more, and I guess I'm not going to rag on our player too much, but it feels like there were better options for him than bars on just 2 units. That said, you know, if he feels like he needs that extra anti-infantry DPS, then, you know, that is his prerogative. Second half-track on the way for our US player. Expect we'll see it be upgraded to the 75mm. Love to see our US player barraging a little bit more, but I guess his opponent doesn't have any stationary units other than that AT gun, and to be honest, the 75mm doesn't know where it is. I don't even know where it is. There it is. Hanging out way back there. Captain on the right side. Trying to get his fuel back. And this is the Bersaglieri with the flamethrower that they stole. But with 2 squads here, I think our US player will manage to win that fight. German player adding on the Panzer command now. So is going to think about that higher tech See what he wants to do with it here. Yeah, big push here into the middle with these Bersaglieri. Nice barrage from these half-tracks. Going to force them off the point there. And our U.S. player needs to make some moves on these. Ooh, might lose another engineer there. Nice pickup for the German. And I was just going to say, I think our U.S. player really needs to make some moves here. Pick up at least 1 point. Hopefully he recognizing that hopefully he should recognize that the left side does have no enemy units there, and in fact our German player is moving up to this top side in force. So this is a pretty good map for Stukas, in my opinion. It's also a decent map for flat. I mean, basically every option available to him in the Panzer Command is good, and he is going to opt for the Panzer III here. And, you know, I think that makes sense in the grand scheme of things. You know, he doesn't know for certain, but he can probably guess that his opponent has gone for the heavy weapons battle group, right? So he should be expecting a Pershing, in theory. Whether that actually happens or not remains to be seen. But a Panzer III, well, Panzer III's en masse can deal with a Pershing. And, yeah, I mean, of course, it gives that great anti-infantry capability in this mid-stage. To be totally honest, our U.S. player doesn't have a ton of answers other than 75 millimeters. Engineers winning this fight up here against these sharpshooters, going to push them back now. Panzer III coming to help out. Getting a huge hit on that retreat there. Yeah. It's actually really interesting how well our U.S. player has done controlling these points. Controlling the victory points in particular. It just feels like every time our German tries to make a move, or excuse me, our U.S. player tries to make a move, the German is one step ahead. Barrage is coming out here to protect the flank. Good hit on those Assault Grenadiers. Panzer III helping out, though. Black Panzer on the side. Flak half-track on the side dealing with the bazookas, though. Panzer III moving over to continue to support all his units. And nice little push, and this is what I'm talking about, right? Our U.S. player finally felt like he was making some moves. He's even going to capture this top side victory point, but getting pushed back everywhere else at the same time, it feels like. And I'm actually wondering if our U.S. player might want to consider an AA half-track. Guess it's very difficult for him to get into a position where it can be effective. Panzer III could easily get up in its face. Captain holding down that top victory point. German player not interested. This player again, both his half-tracks on free fire mode. Potentially giving away their position there. Barrage is coming out. Assault Grenadiers on the flank here. Heavy machine guns setting up, but the Assault Grenadiers, unfortunately for them, walking right into the arc. Not catching it quite soon enough. Rifleman here to help out. Panzer III wants to be effective, but respecting the 75 millimeters. And our U.S. player is very, very close to the Pershing. Another 1.5 points, so he could have that anytime now. Zuka's trolling around, screening for this infantry. This player is going to be able to capture this bottom side. Potentially. Wow, and those bazookas take a ton of damage, don't they? Eating a ton of shots there. Leveling up to Veteran C2 is really going to help their survivability, though. This player's floating. You know, I understand that he's floating this manpower so that he can get the Pershing as soon as it's ready, but I suspect he's got enough time to potentially add something else on. My favorite answer is always indirect fire. Oh, half-tracks looked like they wanted to get aggressive for a second there. I wondered if he was going to attack ground. Didn't end up happening. Denying his opponent this fuel. Strafing run from the German, going to push those units back. Rifleman actually bailing off this point here, not controlling the victory point up top. Hopefully he'll notice that in short order. Rifleman hanging out. Being pushed by these assault grenadiers, negating that cover that they have. You know, something I don't talk about often, but you should know, is that getting close enough to your opponent negates the cover they're in. And I forget what the distance is. It's longer than you'd think. But in any case, closing that distance, negating that cover, and making those grenadiers extremely lethal. Oh, half-track actually hitting his friendly fire there. That was crazy. I've been seeing that a few times lately. I don't know if that's always been happening. I never noticed, or I'm just players are getting unlucky while I'm spectating. I don't know. In any case, damaging the half-track a little bit there. No big deal. Rifleman thinking about stealing away some points here. And 2 Panzer IIIs on the field, though. Getting aggressive. And there is the Pershing tech unlocked. Just needs about less than 30 seconds to be able to get that. Bazooka's going to bail out. Should get out just barely. And man, these sharpshooter squads are really scary with that upgrade, I feel like. Seem very effective against infantry. I did not know that. At Veteran C3, they get additional movement speed. I really like what they did with the Veteran C in this game. It's cool to see the... Ooh, Rifleman going to go down here. Nice pickup. Pershing is on the field, though. Gonna help out, hopefully. Panzer III's getting aggressive all over the place. Rifleman trying to secure this bot side point, just to stem the bleeding. But again, our German player is doing an excellent job controlling more and more, or as many points as he needs to. Pershing getting very aggressive by himself. He's going to chase these Panzer IIIs down. It is true that his opponent doesn't have any snares, but the AT gun is facing the right direction here. Gonna bail out. Rifleman almost picking up that sharpshooter squad. Not quite gonna get it, unfortunately for him. And Pershing has announced his presence in a big way here. US player needs to control a victory point ASAP. He's going to secure this point now.
Here we come, Jerry.
And repairing up his half-tracks a little bit there. We have a machine gun moving up to this top side. Now our US player has lost a rifleman while that was happening. No big deal, of course, but, well... It becomes a bigger deal when you're behind like this, right? You need every unit you can get. Pershing covering this push to the top side here. German repairing up, thinking about moving out in force, and did go for the Black 36 there. I love this. It's a cool weapon to see. You know, I did a cast with N7 Shark the other day, and he said exactly what I was thinking, which is that this weapon is very, very cool to see at a high level, because high-level players can micro the heck out of it. Big hit, gonna blast this Pershing. Pershing gonna have to bail out. And look at the range on that thing. Getting all sorts of hits there. And, you know, in all likelihood, he's going to have to reposition relatively soon, right? Because barrages are a reality, or like a airstrike from the captain there. Artillery strike, I should say. isn't reacting to it just yet. But fortunately for him, the artillery barrage wasn't quite on target there. Rifleman pushing into this middle point. It looks like we're going to have a standoff. The classic standoff over the middle here. Both players camping just outside their bases. And trying to get their hands on this point. Pershing kind of repaired up. I like that this Pershing is staying active on the top side, right? Giving a lot of space to this Flak 36. That said, I would love to see our German reposition the unit. Pershing going to pick up the Flak half-track, finally. That's really big. Really big for him. Assault Grenadiers did manage to stop the German from capturing. Bersaglieri coming in there, driving them away with a flamethrower. Pershing going to help out, though. That could be a big hit. Damaging both units simultaneously. And just carefully sitting at max range here. I wish I could see the range of this thing. Is it going to show me? No. Barrage is coming out. Looks like they're directed at the Flak. Flak 36 needs to be moved here. Might just bring the medical truck out to try and deal with it. Mines going down from these Pioneers. I love these deep mines that allow you to... if your opponent wants to come in on you, they have to go through the mines. Flak 36 going down. US player should, in theory, know that happened. Getting remounted immediately, though. And I guess this is the other way to use Flak 36s, right? Which is to just let them bleed manpower and just continuously reinforcement, and that's the way it is. Pushing back to full strength here. Another artillery barrage from the captain. This time right on target. And a artillery cover being called in here. Getting some good hits on these units. They have to stay out of the circle for a little while here. It is going to let our German pick up this point from the looks of things. Pack on this top side, recognizing where the US player was camping out at and putting a stop to it. Flak 36 moved way back for our German here. Sick of getting barraged. Understandably. Bazooka's getting some good connections on these Panzer IIIs. Pershing looking like it wants to come help out. Already veteran C2. So has that increased weapon accuracy. Gonna let him push away those Panzer IIIs. US player trying to secure this middle, but I believe there's an airstrike coming in. Guess not. Rifleman barely escaping. Barrages not on target there. Looks like he used them to try and deal with the AT. Like to see this Pershing move in a little bit here on this middle. And as I say that, there's not actually a whole lot to be done. German player moving his Flak 36 up to the top side. US player is going to see this happening. Interestingly enough, might be good to destroy this truck, which he's going to do, right? So now our German has to move out with a medical truck if he wants to be able to tow that thing around. Pershing helping out at maximum range here. Completely blasting those assault grenadiers. Airstrike coming in here. Going to drive the bazooka away. I think that's a phosphorus round from the bazookas there, burning the Flak 36. Lovely to see. Heavy tank going to move down here. Recognizing that his opponent is heavily invested in that top side. Medical truck is going to go pick up that Pak 36 from the look of things. Bersaglieri moving back. Hopefully we'll see the US player move in here with one of those engineers. I know he's got a lot going on. Getting really aggressive here. Risky proposition. Is going to pick up one of the Bersaglieri squads, so the greed might have been well worth it there. Bouncing a shell off the front, that was absolutely worth it. Very risky play from our US player, but an important pickup. I think that was a Vet 3. A Vet 3 sharpshooter squad. Rifleman managing to capture this fuel. US player in control of all 3 victory points. So that's absolutely fantastic for him. And just executing with this Pershing to the best of his ability here. It's lovely to see. So I'm actually thinking that I'd like to see our German player go for this Armored Reserves. And maybe convert that into a Tiger tank, potentially. I think he could also do something a little different if he wanted, but... I mean, he could continue this Panzer III spam. Not that he's exactly spamming, but keep massing up Panzer IIIs here. It's going to be a big hit. Nicely done. Pershing bailing out. Flak 36 helping out. Panzer III's bouncing off the front there. Another barrage coming out, stopping the capture from happening. Pershing in a bad spot there. Is going to reposition. German player quickly microing away the Flak 36, recognizing the huge barrages coming down. And I like these two engineers, allowing him to quickly repair. I actually really like this mortar from our US. You know, every game I like to say, I think mortars are criminally underrated. So I love to see that here. It's going to let him, you know, save on some APM while still being able to nuke his opponent. It's also going to be really helpful against the Flak 36. This player has once again found the Flak 36, again with the phosphorus grenades. Going to burn that unit away. Mortar also helping out. Zuka's actually getting good damage on these Panzer IIIs here. And Panzer III's taking a shot from the Flak on the side there. And lots of penetrations by the German. Flak 36 has been wiped here. Is going to remount it and tow it away. From the looks of things. Barrage is coming out, though. Medical truck's got to go. Get him and get out of there. Go! Barely going to make it. Nicely done. Heavy machine gun not facing the correct way. Pershing is on the scene, though, bouncing the shell from that pack. You see three Panzer IIIs for our German. Thinking about getting aggressive here, knowing that the Flak 36 is probably out of position. Assault Grenadiers going to try and stop these riflemen from grenading that pack, but doesn't... Oh, and man, those riflemen went down quick. Instantly re-adding that is MCRE. So... And Browning left behind that our opponent might steal away. Captain on the bottom side, uncontested capturing territory. This player is managing to capture some topside territory, and this has just been a grind for both players. Something I didn't mention is that I love that this truck is, Jeep is still alive. He basically converted into this, you know, once he got the signal detection, he's just been chilling right here behind these bushes. And it's just been wonderful to see. So, and look how big that radius is. I mean, on a short map like this, very strong. So, cool to see. Herman is repairing up his panzers here. And this is sort of what I mean by I feel like he needs to tech up. I mean, there's nothing wrong with the composition he has. And he could definitely get something done with it. But if he can throw something into the mix that his opponent isn't expecting, then I think that could be really powerful for him. Like, to be honest with you, something like a dive with the Panzer IIIs, you know, supported by infantry capturing some critical victory points, followed immediately by, you know, a Tiger, could be really, really strong, right? Jeep moving up, revealing all these units over here. So is seeing that his opponent is moving to the left and he's repositioning. I mean, this is literally map hacks, and it's freaking awesome. It's such a cool thing to see. Does know that those Panzer IIIs are on the scene. Flak 36 going to help out. And this is fine for our US player. He can just delay this push as long as possible. Prevent these from happening. Artillery barrage from the captain there. And maybe some barrages from these half-tracks going to come out. Yeah, precasting it on the victory point there to stop the capture from happening. Big Pershing hits here. I do like this concerted push from our German right. He's pushing everywhere at once. And he's supporting his infantry with vehicles, but unfortunately for him, US player was seemingly ready for it. Black Dragon Barrage here. Going to completely annihilate everything in this area. Managed to pick up a burst of Yeri on the retreat. Also going to destroy that AT gun from the looks of things. AT gun going down. Panzer III barely not in the blast radius. Pershing hitting the wrong Panzer III. Both Panzer IIIs bouncing off this Pershing. Did correct his mistake. Going to get a good hit there. Black 36 in position to help out, but the Pershing is completely annihilating that Panzer III. Probably can't push. Another barrage going to come down on this Flak 36 from the look of things. Going to need to reposition or let the manpower bleed. He's going to try to reposition. So nicely done. And man, this Jeep has been MVP. Like, holy cow. I mean, it's even detecting these units all the way in his opponent's base. That is just incredible. Look at all these weapons left behind. And, man, this is going to be comeback of the century if that's what's actually going to happen here. Because I mean, 15 minutes ago, 20 minutes ago, the game was completely on its head from where it is now. Which is to say, our U.S. player was down to like 2 riflemen, a captain, a bazooka, and a heavy machine gun, and that was like it. And he just clawed his way back in with these 75 millimeters. He managed to get to that Pershing, and good on him. So our German is out of time to tech switch here. And despite having a ton of fuel and a reasonable amount of manpower, is going to be stuck with this composition for the foreseeable future here. I don't see this game ending any other way. Assault Grenadiers getting blasted by these Pershings, as well as pretty much the entire front line of the US player. Black 36 trying to help out. Panzer III's here, facing off against the Pershing. Black 36 isn't able to help out. Getting some good penetrations by those Panzer IIIs, but unfortunately for him, he's going to go down. And with 3 points to go, I think that is the end of the game. Well played by our US player. Well played by both players. I mean, look at that damage dealt. Nostalgia, yeah. I mean, just a wonderful game. It was really cool to see the comeback happen. So I hope you guys enjoyed this game as much as I did, and I will see you in the next one.